Hello and welcome back to the unnamed Spartan Village podcast. Greg Hurst along with Nate Green. We're back with another episode ready to preview the spring football season. Nate, how's it going?
It's going good. Excited to have
Perfect.
these guys on. We've been out on the practice field with them a little bit, and you can feel the energy starting to mount towards Friday, getting excited for the first game. So definitely just wanted to get them on and hear from their point of view a little bit on, what they're excited for and what the season's going to be like.
Yep, we're recording this flex period on Wednesday morning, 2 days away from the first game of the season at Cardinal Spellman in Brockton. And the anticipation in the building is, building with each passing hour. And joining us today, Dylan, Frankie, boys, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Briefly, for our listeners, especially for those that are just listening at home and not watching on youtube.com, introduce yourself so they can put names to a voice's name, year, position, etc.
You can go first. That's fine.
My name's Dylan Aguiar. I'm a senior, and I play quarterback and defensive end.
My name's Frankie. I play running back and safety, and I'm a senior as well.
Awesome.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch any of the first episode. We're just kind of experimenting right now at this point, but biggest thing, like I felt like the first one went really well. We had Coach Santos and Declan on, and they were really good guests. But the biggest thing we're struggling with is coming up with a name. Just have no idea. I didn't know if you guys had any ideas.
I don't really have any ideas. I think the Spartan Village podcast is a good just name filler for now. I don't really know anything that would be better than that.
Good placeholder.
Big roar, maybe. Because I know in football, after we pray, we say what's the thing again? It's Our Lady, Queen of Victory, pray for us. And then we say oorah, so you guys should be the big oorah or something.
Okay. All right. We'll put that one on the list.
Maybe some clear eyes, full hearts or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. Well, let's talk though, before we start looking ahead to this upcoming football season, we want to talk about just sort of this year in general. And we're curious for you guys. We'll start with Dylan. What's been the biggest challenge this year, whether sports related or academic related, in this pandemic school year?
Me, it's just pretty much been that anything can change at an instant. I know for hockey this year, we had to get shut down twice, and it just happens out of nowhere, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So you have to be out there living every day it's going to be your last day on campus or on the field. And I think that's definitely the hardest thing to come to grasp with, because you don't want it to be your last day, but you never know when it will be.
I think the most challenging part is it's getting to know the younger classmen, because we don't have that locker room feel to it anymore. So we can't get to know kids. We can't joke around like we used to, and all the time the coaches are on our backs about being separated. So it's we're really just go there, play football, and then go home, and then that's it. So there's that, and then on the academic side, honestly, school is dragging. It's I want to be in school and stuff, but some days it's I really don't want to be on Zoom right now, because it's takes too long for me.
Building off Dylan's point, I know for basketball, obviously we're in the gym and Coach Golden's office is right there. And, sometimes when he walks, he's got gives off a vibe. And it's he would walk in sometimes and is he about to shut us down? Is he about to tell us we got to go home? And we had those days. And then one day it was snowing and he's we got to send everybody home. And we're oh gosh, we were getting ready for the playoffs. So he's going to shut us down for 2 weeks. And he was no, it's just snowing. We got to get everybody home safe. So we lucked out with that. But Declan said the same thing you said, Frankie. The biggest thing that he missed was the locker room environment and just being with the guys in the locker room as his biggest challenge for this year, because he misses that aspect of it.
Yeah, Frankie, while we're here and we're talking about this, what does before and after practice look like now? What is it then if it's not locker room and getting ready to go out there together and picking on one another? Then what are you doing?
We get if you're remote, you just get to practice. You have to be fully geared, and you just hop on the field. It's practice right away. And we maybe have 5 minutes to converse before the coaches come out and they're all right, let's go let's get this going. And like after practice, like it's like you have to get in your car and you have to leave. It's like something me and the other seniors, we like get in a little group and we'll start talking, but it's like for 5 minutes because it's like cold outside. So it's like we're not really trying to be outside talking. So
Dang.
get out of there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely pretty brutal. I mean, it's nothing like it used to be. I mean, every day we used to go to Coach Mac's room. We would all watch film together, and then we'd go down to the locker room. We'd all listen to music and just take our time getting ready for practice. And now it's just you get to school, you already have your stuff on, you get out to the field, practice for 3 hours, and then you just go home. Like it's just nothing like it used to be, and it sucks. But I mean, at least we get to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the sentiment shared by most people is like you take all the negative parts of it, and just being able to go and play is the big thing that outweighs all of it. Like you still would do anything you can to be able to have the chance, especially when we lost the spring season last year. So going off of last year, one of the questions we wanted to ask you guys is like what your role has been for the football program so far, like you know, in terms of what your role was on the team last year, and kind of like where did you leave off last season?
Well, last season I was just basically the energetic guy. I would bring like the fire to the team and stuff like that. But like now this year, I feel like my role is more of like in a leadership role, obviously because I'm a senior. But like I'm like trying to I'm trying to inspire someone else to be like the energy guy. Because like with me now, I have to be worried about like like telling people on defense like let's do this, let's do that, being focused in the game so much. I can't really focus on the energy part as much as I did because now I have more responsibility. So it's like I need someone else to bring that energy as well as me too.
Interesting.
For me last year, I mean, I started on defense for about half the year. I didn't get that much playing time on offense. And I mean, personally, it made me have like a chip on my shoulder. And like, I think a lot of guys were like that last year too. And coming into this year, like they feel like they have something to prove. And I feel like that's going to bring like a whole different aspect to this season. Cause I feel like a lot of our seniors and some of our juniors feel like they have something to prove this year. And just to like go out there and show what they can really do. But I think even those kids that won't be like starting both ways or even starting one way, they all have a role, and I think if everyone does their role, like we're gonna have a great year this year.
Well, a lot of us weren't even really able to have the opportunity to watch you guys play last year, as this feels like ancient history at this point, but last football season was largely interfered with by a different pandemic, the pandemic of mosquitoes. We had Triple E last year that pushed back all of our Friday night games to early afternoon or Saturday. And I know personally, I didn't get to go watch a single one of your home games last year, largely because of just the weird schedule and the moving around of games and everything. And in hindsight, that was almost a warm up for the ever changing landscape and schedule that you guys have been facing this year. But in spite of that, what do you remember most from last season? What was the biggest highlight for you that stands out looking back upon the 2019-2020 football season?
I don't think anything stands out more than when we played Dartmouth. I mean, it was the first time we beat them in 2 decades. Nothing beat that feeling. Like I didn't play that much that game, but it was still the most unreal feeling that I've ever had playing football in my life.
Wow.
Yeah, I totally agree. Obviously, like that last drive, we went into the huddle. We're like on the 20, our own 20, and it's like we just went to the huddle. We're like, yo, we're gonna score on this drive. We're gonna score on this drive. Every single play was like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. And when it finally happened, it was like a dream come true. We were like, yes, we finally did it.
Well, that kind of while we're talking about Dartmouth and everything else, I haven't personally had the chance to sit down and look at the entire schedule. I know it's a shorter schedule this year, but we also have the new conference. So is Dartmouth even on the schedule for this year? And if not, how are you guys feeling about the new conference and the new teams you're going to be facing along the way this season?
I mean, we aren't playing Dartmouth this year, which is brutal. I mean, we played them our sophomore year and last year, and I wish we could have played it and I just had one more match with them. But because of our new conference, we have to play all in-conference games this year. And it's definitely a tougher conference than what we've been used to with like Bishop Fien, Archbishop Williams, Bishop Fenwick. But I think with the team that we have and like the senior leadership we have, like we can compete with every single team that we're playing this year. And even though it is a tougher conference, that will be one of the tougher teams in the conference with all of them.
Cool.
And like also on top of that, like I honestly think of this as a fresh start for everybody because if you really think about it, nobody's played football in that long. So it's like everybody's like starting over essentially. And like we have seniors that like I haven't played in a year, Dylan hasn't played in a year. Like it's been a while off from football. And like football is one of those sports like where it's like constant repetition. So if we lost like a whole season, it's like we're trying to like figure it back on. We're trying to get back on that horse and just like constantly trying to adapt.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was interested in because obviously I know you guys were out there grinding like 4 or 5 days a week in the fall, and to practice that much and not have like a build up to like, okay, now we get to go hit somebody else on a Friday night. Like that must have been really tough. So I was interested in like how you guys have kept sharp in the gap between when you stopped practicing in the fall and started now. How much of the playbook was in, like how much were you guys expected to know when you came in at the start of fall too?
I mean, we weren't really expected to know that much. Pretty much in the fall, all we really implemented was like our option system and a few of our like basic pass plays, which all of like the kids who've been in the program have known since their freshman year. So that was all like pretty basic that we all knew. But just saying sharp, like from an athletic standpoint, I mean, almost every single guy was playing like a winter sport or just training on their own, like in the weight room or anything. So that was very easy for all of us to just like get back on track for just being like in shape for football. But just like playbook and everything, we pretty much had like the basics that we needed to know going into camps that we could just build on it like at this point.
Yeah, and like we had to keep in mind that like we got like a bunch of kids that were playing winter sports, so like we couldn't like do everything in the fall that we wanted to like get like a head start because we still had like new kids, so we'd have to do the same thing now like we did. So it's like I think that just keeping like it took a lot of leadership this year. It's like whenever we had time, we'd do something extra, just building up to the fall season, building up after the fall season, because we always wanted to be able to come in and like be a role model for the people behind us so that we can get in check even faster.
You mentioned earlier talking about how COVID and stuff has affected the before and after of practice and whatever else, but how is it going to affect the games on the field this season? Are there rule changes or is it largely the same except for masks?
There are a lot of rule changes. There's like all right, so we starting with the mask. The masks have to be on obviously all the time. We can't wear gaiters like all the other sports, which I don't get, but there's sideline rules where like each person's in like a specific box, and like if you get out of that box, it's a penalty. Coaches, you know how coaches usually like the head coach usually like ends up on the field somehow, and like it used to be like one of those rules where like nobody said anything. Well, now it's gonna be like a 5-yard penalty, stuff like that. So like they're definitely getting strict on those stuff. And I think the one that's gonna like affect me the most is like the handshaking at the end, because like after like a hard fought game, like you always want to like be able to like go congratulate the other guy for like having a good game, even if he like knocked you on your butt or you knocked him on. Like at the end of the game, we still have respect for each other because it's football. So like I think that's one of the main ones that's gonna affect me.
I mean, I definitely agree with everything Frankie said. Like, it's all definitely really weird. And all those rule changes, like, the main one that really affects us is obviously, like, the masks and the handshaking at the end. And they also did, like, on the sideline, even though, like, we have our boxes, they extended, like, the sideline box so we can go down to, I think it's a 10-yard line. So it's definitely going to add, like, a different look to the field and definitely, like, a different feel, because when you are on the sidelines, you're all, like, bunched together. You're all getting rowdy together. So now it's going to be weird, like, if we score a touchdown or the defense like gets a pick, like how are we going to celebrate? Like it's going to be definitely very different and it's going to be very odd.
Yeah, I was thinking about that because especially like when you're on offense, you know, it's like the whole team on the sideline is like following the drive down the sideline, right? And it's like, or if you know somebody gets a long touchdown or whatever, like some of the guys go running down the sideline because they're fired up to celebrate with them in the end zone. It's going to be hard for you guys to like unlearn all that stuff. I know it would be for me. So I'm interested to see how it goes, but I didn't realize it was a penalty if you come out of those boxes. That's tough.
And especially like Coach Perry, because if you go to a football game know Coach Perry is jumping, going crazy on the sideline. Most of the time, going more crazy than the actual football players. So I'm gonna want to like know how that feels, or just Coach Perry's just like watching and stuff.
He's gonna need one of those pullback guys that you see in college, where like they grab the
Sean
back of their
McVay.
belt loop
Yeah.
with like a
Exactly.
stick or something this year, and just keep like reining him in over and over again. All right, so just a few rapid fires. We'll have Dylan go first on each of these, and then Frankie, you can just go right after. Just try to answer as quick as you possibly can. First thing that pops into your mind. So pregame meal, whether it's for football or another sport, what's your ideal pregame meal, Dylan?
For me, I always go with like the little Gatorade chews, and then a cool blue Gatorade every single time.
Ooh.
Yeah. All I do is eat some Subway, get a vitamin water, and then call it a day.
Even though Subway's gone from across the street, you still go?
Go down the street, right on
There you
our
go.
judge.
That's resourceful. That's good. All right. If so, fourth quarter, you're on a drive trying to win the game. All right. Dylan, Coach Golden comes to you and says, "What do you like? What play do you want? What's your favorite? What are you going to go with?"
I just want 4 verts. Just put the dogs down the field. I know Greg's gonna catch the ball. Joel, Liam. I know someone's gonna get open. So that's definitely what I want.
That's what
For
we
me-
like to hear. That's a lot of confidence.
For me, it's gonna be 22 ISO. Just me going to block someone and Jake getting the ball and running it for a touchdown. Because I love blocking for Jake. I know he's gonna get a touchdown if I get a block for him, and I know I'm gonna get the block. So it's a wrap.
I love that because you guys, when I watch you play, I've watched you play in the past. You're like clones of each other. Like you're the same height, same build, and it's like to see them in the backfield together. It's like truly a two-headed monster, which is fun to watch. All right, favorite athlete ever. It doesn't have to be a football player,
For me,
but it can be.
It's probably Tom Brady.
Jackie Robinson.
Good choice. All right. I know, Frankie, you said you're not big into like watching the NFL in college, but Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, or other, who you starting a team with?
I would say Aaron
I'm
Rodgers, but he has
Yeah.
no playoff clutch. Like, man has like he's just not good in playoffs in my opinion.
That's a fair take.
But you got to go Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady's a GOAT. Like there's just
It's hard to argue against that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Tom Brady.
That's tough. All right. Favorite football movie?
remember the Titans, no doubt. Oh, or the Blind Side,
Oh, what was that movie called? It's The Longest Yard, and it's with Adam Sandler in it.
Yep.
That's hilarious. I like
Mine-
that movie.
Mine's got to be Friday Night Lights. Have you
The
seen Friday
movie
Night
or
Lights?
the movie or the show?
movie. The movie's incredible. Yeah.
The movie's really good. I've been rewatching the show and I'm just in love with it again.
Yeah. All right. Favorite other sports movie. So a favorite movie about sports. It's about a different sport.
The Miracle.
I knew you were going to say that. Hockey guy. Frankie?
No clue. What is this movie? 42. Never mind. Yeah, 42.
Any sports movie you cried to? What was the first sports movie you cried to? You can tell us. It's okay.
I cry. I don't cry.
Frankie. I'll tell you mine if you guys say yours.
They don't happen.
I don't know if I cried to this one, but it's definitely a heartwarming one. Probably Rudy.
For me, it was Hardball. You ever seen Hardball?
I've heard of it. I've never
Oh
seen
man, G baby.
I can't remember the first one because I'm a sensitive dude, but
yeah.
I definitely cried at the end of the first Creed movie. Something about Rocky Balboa and I don't know. It gets me every time. Boxing movies, man, the best.
Yeah. All right. You guys watch Harry Potter? You Harry Potter fans?
Yeah, I could not finish any of the movies. Too long.
I had such a good question. It's going to be Professor McGonagall or Coach McGonagall? Big question.
Coach, wait, what?
You're going with Coach Mac anyway, no matter what?
Hey.
Okay. All right. Dylan, this one's just for you. Is Texas back? That's my college team. Are they back?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
Never. Literally never.
Another one for you, Dylan. What do the Patriots do this offseason? Where do they go with quarterback?
I mean, if Cam Newton can just figure it out, like I can see.
Oh, come on.
I can see him like getting better. Because when he was like in his prime with the Panthers, like he wasn't bad. Like he was a solid QB. So if he can like get back to that, then I think they stick with him. But if not, like I say you either rock with Stidham or pick up someone in the draft.
All right.
I hate all of that. I hate everything you just said.
There's only 2 questions left. This one's going to be for you, Dylan. This is probably a tough one. Saban or Belichick?
Oh, Saban. No question.
Really?
No question.
Okay.
Wow.
And then the last
They're
question.
both
This is,
insufferable.
yeah, I agree. This is for both of you. Favorite Coach Golden phrase, something you hear him say all the time.
So many.
I mean, my favorite thing that he always says is when he goes, "God bless America," in a very like kind of like a high pitched like raspy voice. Whenever he gets angry, that's pretty good. But if I'm gonna go favorite Coach Golden moment is our sophomore year after our first game, we beat Seekonk. It was like 40 to something, like 40 to 10 or something like that. And he promised us like the summer before that he would dance in the locker room. So after that game, we put on "We Want the Funk." He got in the middle of the locker room and started to boogie. So that was probably a good Coach Golden moment.
Sounds like he picked the song too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Frankie?
Right. He just comes up to me sometimes. He's like, "Hey Frank, I think I beat you in a race." Like he always come up to me and he'll like try to like test you. He'll be like, "Yeah, well, you know, when I was your age and this and that." And I was like, "Yo, just keep it moving." But yeah, favorite moment though. Oh my gosh, it was our sophomore year and freshman year, and we were running up to varsity and like we were running some like one-on-ones and with the linemen and the running backs, and then Coach Golden was directing the defense to like tell people like to blitz or whatever, and then Joey came flying through a hole as like a linebacker, and then Coach Golden stops him. He's like, "Joey, who told you to blitz?" And then Joey looked straight at him. He's like, "No one." And then Coach Golden was like, "Then why'd you blitz?" And I could not hold in my laugh. It was the funniest moment.
Oh man.
We're excited for the game on Friday, and we'll definitely we're going to try and break down the game and see what happened next week. Thank you guys. Appreciate
No
it.
problem.